We're looking at the Nord Piano 5, and we're going to be talking about what makes this one of the top selections for stage musicians and for in-home studios.
Hi, this is Ted with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Patrick Marr. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. Make sure to check out our new website, alamopianogalleries.com. It highlights our 9 stores across the nation. We'd love to see you. Come say hi, see which one's closest to you, meet some really nice musicians, and play some great pianos. Well, Ted, the Nord.
This is such a cool keyboard.
Very cool, but before we jump right in,
Piano fact.
piano fact. We like to start our videos with a piano fact.
I have a strange one today.
Okay.
It's kind of history, and I had to underline it because there's some phenomenal quotes in here. And what it is about is it's about a brief history of piano smashing.
Smashing.
Smashing. So this is where piano smashing.
I've smashed a guitar before,
If you
but
go
a
look it
piano-
up, you Google it, you go to a library, you go to the card catalog, read all the books, you'll find it. This is supposedly the essentials from what I have here.
Okay.
It starts with this guy named Franz Liszt. And
I've heard of him before.
Yeah, and he used Beethoven's piano at one time, and all the strings came out and so on and so forth. But you have to remember, this was at a time when they didn't have solid frames in pianos. They didn't put overly engineered legs on the piano. And this was at a time where what it says here, the early wooden frame pianos simply could not cope with playing now. The playing the piano has changed from the Clementi days and fine fingering. Energy flowed and forced from the shoulders and back rather than merely from the early wrist and forearm. So what would happen is he'd get that thing wobbling, it'd fall, the sides would come off, and people were so impressed because he played the piano.
He played it to death.
And he inspired this next guy. This guy lived from 1891 to 1952, Alberto Cervino. And this guy would go out there and play the piano by smashing his fists and trying to really destroy it. And then he'd pull out a board and run it up and down the air, and he destroyed pianos. And one of the critics absolutely loved him and thought, give this guy enough time, he'll destroy every piano in Paris. Bravo. So he's one of those lowbrow guys that doesn't like piano literature. Okay, and so then we get up to the next one, and Jerry Lee Lewis, I don't even know if I need to talk about that, but he worked the crowd up, kept playing, pulls out this squirt bottle with his lighter fluid or kerosene in it, and lit it while he was playing, and just lit the keys on fire and played through it. So, that to me is like this is the history
That's
of piano
rock and roll
smashing.
right
That's
there.
rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
He invented it right there. So then piano smashing came out. And piano smashing was big in the 50s and 60s with college students. And it was taken, this is what I like,
Leave
because
it to
it's
the youth.
the ritual destruction of repressive Victorian values embodied in the piano, which deserved to be taken out of the village green by the right-thinking English yeoman and smashed. Decades of primness, prudery, and piety in the parlor, blah, 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 hypocrisy and violence of an empire, wars and colonialism.
Wow.
So then you get to the point to where in the late to mid 60s, a lot of these old pianos encountered their first HVAC, central heat, and that dried everything out and the pianos fell apart and they wouldn't stay in tune. So then a guy thought, we're gonna get to where this is performance art, and these college students, 1 minute and 34 seconds, they destroyed an upright and passed it through a 9-inch aperture. They just knocked it down, tore it apart, and when they had hammers, everything fine. It's actually, you can see the videos.
Wow.
They're out there. And then it comes down to, there's some other piano activities where they just made weird music for it. But one lady, and Ania Lockwood actually wrote this. This is a song and a score for piano. Set upright piano, not a grand, in an open space with the lid closed. Spill a little lighter fluid on a twist of paper and place it inside the pedals. Light it. Balloons may be stapled to the piano. Play whatever pieces you can for as long. Play whatever pleases you for as long as you can. That's score to piano burning. actually a composition. So this is where piano smashing comes
So
from.
if you thought rock and roll was smashing guitars, it's really smashing pianos.
It's smashing pianos.
You've heard of
was the
mashed
first
potatoes,
to
but have you heard of
smash
pianos?
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Because destruction and music seem to always kind of go hand in hand, especially like if it's part of the show. But when you get the rock and roll, Hendrix lit a guitar on fire, Townsend smashed it up, they destroyed amps, set things on fire. It's like the carnage is part of the show.
So that's rock and roll, and today we are talking about rock and roll in the Nord Piano 5, which I would not recommend smashing. It is pretty pricey.
Very pricey.
But a fantastic instrument. That red is, one of the most sought after reds that people want on stage with them. And I've gone to many a show and seen the keyboardists have some sort of red shaped object, and it usually says Nord right on the front.
And what I like about the Nord keyboards is you see musicians playing them, and then you also see them used on plays in theater, in churches, and sometimes you'll have a performance group, and the Nord does nothing but provide pads, sound effects, textures, and everything. And
so you answered my question.
Great for that.
You answered I was going to ask, what makes this such a desired product for the stage or for the studio?
You can make anything sound like Hollywood or major motion picture scores because the sounds are just tremendous.
And they really harp on the technology of layering.
That's what gives it that juiciness when you're playing it. Just one note and you think, oh man, that sounds like...
And it keeps growing and it keeps changing.
Growing and then it wallows and it has different...
And so the Piano 5 is one of the latest editions. It is the latest edition, but it has been out for a couple years. The Piano 5, what they added into it was they have a dual piano sound now, so you can have two pianos layered, and whether it's upright, a grand, or whatever you want to do, an electric piano and a piano, you can layer the sounds there, but you also have two synth layers as well, and so you can have a total of 4 going at the same time, and really start creating and crafting texture.
It's very precise because I tell you what, there's a thing I looked at is how to get a certain sound on a Nord, and they tell you set this electric piano to that and get it to where it sounds like this, and then put this acoustic or this semi-acoustic or this deliberate other sound with it, and then blend them about 60-40 until you get that certain sound. And one of them is how do you get that Elton John sound? That's the piano that he developed when he was using Roland. Okay, and so that sound, there's little maps to how to go in there and get almost any exact other keyboard, or whether it's an acoustic piano with a Rhodes or a pad or whatever it is, they're easily accessible.
And you said something a long time ago about Nord. You said once someone buys a Nord, they're a Nord musician.
You can't sell them anything else. They're a Nord musician.
They've been pigeonholed a Nord musician.
It's the quality of those sounds, the timbre of the sounds.
Once you start messing with it, it brings you in. You get tied to it. We have a piano technician in St. Louis, or no, in Kansas City, and he's a Nord guy. He can play all the instruments. He's played everything, but his preferred instrument is always a Nord. He's getting the new stage that just came out, that everyone's excited about, the Stage 4. We've done a video on that before, but the Piano 5 is kind of that it's a more affordable. It comes in at like $3,500.
More affordable, lighter package. You can take it to a gig, and then you can also take it to a buddy's house to record or just rehearse and stuff like that. So it's more of like a powerful, portable thing to bring with you.
Yeah, well, let's take a listen to it. We're going to go through some of the presets on here because they do a great job of highlighting what this thing can do. We'll add some effects on it and really take a cool listen to kind of what makes Nord special and what those great sounds that come with a Nord are. So we'll go through a bunch of presets right here on the Nord.
Well, Patrick, I tell you what, I couldn't find a favorite setting on this keyboard because I love so many of them. Yeah, the piano's great, the electrics are great, those pad settings are phenomenal, but those ambiance things that they have in there, and what makes this a lot, this is, I think, is like a great version of a fun machine. If you want to describe a keyboard as a fun thing, it's this one because the quality of sounds are intriguing and they really do entice you to stay on and listen more. But you had mentioned that seamless transition, and that's what makes it so cool. Is like this sound is so cool, just hanging there, and go to the next one, and you pick one out and you change it, and it's like you hear enough hanging over to the other one.
Yeah, if you're holding a
really
sustain
neat.
pedal, you don't have a drop off. A lot of instruments, when you switch to a different sound,
Yeah, it's a
just
rough
like,
edit.
and so on it's really designed to be a live instrument. With the presets, they've added double the memory on this model from the predecessor, so you can have
More stuff.
more presets, more stuff that you load in. Really, just made to create. And I think that's it doesn't come with speakers on it. It's 40 pounds. Not the most lightweight, but it's
Right.
built sturdy, so that you can take it to a gig, not have to worry about it, and really kind of makes this, I would say, a preferred instrument for the gigger.
Right.
The gig, it's the guy who goes to the gig, and the studio musician. And so just fantastic. That red is really beautiful as well. People just love Nords.
Well, what it also says is this keyboard's different. Notice the sounds, and I think that's what keyboardists and other musicians. Oh man, it's a Nord. Let's see what sounds we got coming out of it. And because it's a recognized keyboard.
Yeah, so really cool. Again, some of the stuff they added on was that second layer for piano, so double layered, and then double synth layers as well. If you've had a Nord before, if you prefer the stage or you prefer the piano, there's a lot of Nord enthusiasts that will say, hey, it's more confusing to do this one, but it's better. There is a lot of buttons, there's a lot of functionality, but again, it is made with the intention of being a live instrument.
Yeah, all the parameters for live performance are there.
And their effects are studio grade. Like they're the only license out for Mellotron, and they're able to get the real Mellotron sound in there and the sample. So they really care about what's in it, and really kind of equip you to make some really beautiful music. Really different approach than a lot of portable keyboards that are available on the market. Where you'll get a good piano sound, a good electric piano sound, but not really that textured layer pad sound.
Oh, the sound designs on there are just incredible. It's just really fun to listen to.
So if you've owned a Nord, please leave comments. Let us know what the experience was. Let us know why you always will be a Nord musician. Or maybe we're wrong and you're like, I did Nord once and it was too confusing, didn't like it, I switched to A, B, or C. Those comments are very helpful, especially for people looking for that right instrument. Ted Barslew, I'm Patrick Marr with Alamo Music, and we will see you next time.